Hi, it's Money44 here, and today I invite you to a short review of the EON Gearbox shell from Gate. The shell for the review was provided by Gate. Due to the fact that I'm not a professional airsoft technician and I do not have a lot of experience, and I will base my today's review after one assembly of a complete shell for DSG gear set, I encourage you to share your experiences with the shell in the comments so that the future viewers can learn more on that in the review. But let's move on to the shell. No matter if the shell in your replica has broken down or are you planning a hardcore tuning, it's a good time to ensure peace of mind and replace the shell with one that can withstand anything you throw at it. And with such an idea was created the EON shell from Gate, whose materials and design were selected to meet the requirements of even the most hardcore builds. But let's start with the unboxing. Gate EON shell is a product that I can safely call a premium shelf. It comes to us in an elegant black box on which, in addition to the information that the product is produced in Poland, we can find all the most important information about the shell and what we get in the box. After opening it, on the lid there is more information to which I will return later. In the box I found a card with a code that upgrades the Gate MOSFET software bar 1 level and a Gate sticker, a catalog of Gate CNC products, steel spring guide with bearing, a set of screws, and the EON shell itself, in my case in titanium color. Let's take a closer look at it. The shell is made of 7075 aluminum. I'm not a materials scientist, but I have access to Google. A brief search led me to information that is one of the strongest aluminum alloys, and it's used among other things in the manufacture of aircraft parts, gears and shafts, and even rocket parts, or in the defense industry. So it seems to me that also in the airsoft it will work perfectly. The shell is made in Poland with CNC technology, and I can expect the best quality workmanship. The shell I am reviewing is from the revision 2 after a fixed manufacturing process that eliminated the problem of bending of the first revision. From the outside, the first thing that strikes the eye is the descriptions of the elements laser burned on the shell. On the right side we can find descriptions of individual gears, information about the aluminum alloy used, the AOE inspection window is also marked. There are even decorative strips here, because why not? On the left side, a window showing us the level of set precocking is detailed. Here we'll also find a window to release the anti-reversal. We also have available an inspection window for the bevel gear, which will surely make it easier to shim it to the motor. The shell is prepared for installation of double-sided selector, requiring additional gears passing through the shell. Resists for the selectors are also present. The rounding of the corners of the cylinder, which reduce the loads transferred to the shell, has entered a whole new level here. The rounding is really considerable and smoothly transitions to the straight surfaces. Also present are places for mounting screws for adjusting the horizontal axis of the shell in the body. The shell of course has quick access spring system and it's compatible with the Spetsnaz SA2 system. Inside, the workmanship stands at an equal high level. The place where the wires go past the motor axis has a special notch and a tab, so we can safely pass the wires from the MOSFET here without fear of damaging them. The pins in the form of Allen screws are made of steel. The cylinder window has a textured surface, which should prevent the cylinder from spinning around its own axis, as you can see in the example of the Spetsnaz steel cylinder. In the front part we also see a rounding so that the tappet plate can rest well against the front of the shell, which will ensure maximum nozzle extension. When it comes to compatibility of the shell with MOSFETs, of course Gate Aster and Titan, or as here Titan 2, will fit perfectly. But there is no problem with the installation of, for example, Piran Hybrid or Jeffron Leviathan. In the shell there are prepared places for bearings with a diameter of 8 mm. I myself checked FPS software ball bearings, Spetsnaz bushings, Spetsnaz bar bearings, and point ball bearings. All of them jump into their place without the need to hammer them in and are flush with the shell. The only thing to remember is to glue the bearings in. If they span hole in the shell, it could cause the holes to grow out over time and thus damage the shell. Here it's worth mentioning that the shell has a slightly different shape in the area of magazine release than standard shells such as the Orion from Spetsnaz. If in your replica the bolt release goes in this area, you may have to give up this function. As for the work on the shell, I rate it very good. The gear inspection windows came in handy as much as possible and made it easier for me to shim to the motor. The AOE window reassured me that all was well after putting the shell together. The prococking boost window is marked for normal gears. I mounted a dual sector gear in the shell, which is one that have fewer teeth, so as you can see the high setting falls ahead of the medium, but it's still cool to see exactly how the precocking handles between shots. In the shell I have already installed once reviewed pneumatic parts from Gate, so without surprises they fit perfectly. But here I would like to point out one thing to keep in mind, and that is the warning. Not to install cylinder heads with a shock absorber in the front part. Gate informs that this can cause damage to the shell, so the Gate head does not have such a shock absorber. Gate EON shell was created for people who value reliability and for those who plan extreme upgrades. High quality materials and precise workmanship combined with a well thought out design result in a product that should meet even the highest demand. Inspection windows helped in easier installation of the parts and in checking the operation of the complete shell. The descriptions of the shell look cool and are rather a gimmick to the inexperienced technician, but they show attention to detail in design phase. Keep in mind not to use the cylinder heads with shock absorption, glue the bearings, and the fact that in some replicas there may be a problem with installation of the bolt release, but let's not fool ourselves, there is no perfect product. Nevertheless, the shell I can recommend as much as possible. That will be all for today. Let me know how you liked today's episode and what you think of the EON shell from Gate, and if you already dealt with one, how does it work for you? But for now, thanks for watching and see you next time.